Education is the key to unlock the golden doors of freedom. George Washington Carver. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed principal, faculty members, honored guests, and my dear fellow students, a warm welcome to all to the Malcolm and Elizabeth Adisesha's Trust Best Teacher in Economics Award ceremony. We have gathered here today to celebrate excellence in the field of economics and honor Dr. Suganya, who has dedicated herself to the noble profession of teaching. To commence our program, I kindly request Dr. Helen Mary Jacqueline, the Dean of Academic Affairs and Associate Professor in the Department of Economics at Lady Dock College, to guide us in a prayer. Prior to that, we'll be graced with a prayer song. I encourage everyone to rise as we engage in this moment together.
Let us pray. Gracious Heavenly Father, we assemble today with hearts filled with celebration and gratitude, recognizing that every good and perfect gift in our lives comes from above. You are the source of all goodness, and we thank you for the blessing that surrounds us. Lord, we humbly bow before your divine presence, seeking your blessings upon this significant gathering. In unity, we come together as a community of teachers, scholars, mentors, family, and friends, honoring the dedicated individual who has devoted her life to the pursuit of knowledge. We lift up in prayer Dr. Suganya, who has worked tirelessly to inspire, educate, and guide students on the intricate paths of economic understanding. Today, we are here to recognize and applaud the exceptional efforts of Suganya, who has been chosen as the best teacher in the field. We pray that this Best Teacher Award in Economics serves as a symbol of appreciation for her dedication to fostering a love for economics within her students. May Suganya be encouraged and strengthened to continue her noble work and make her impact ripple through the lives of those she has touched, creating a positive and lasting legacy. Lord, we ask for your continued blessing upon educators who play a crucial role in shaping the minds and future of the next generation. May the passion for learning, commitment to excellence, and love for the students be a source of inspiration for all of us. May your illuminating light guide our trustee, Dr. Venkatachalam, guest speaker, Mr. Sampath Kumar, retired faculty members, as well as the administrative team of the college, faculty members of the department, faculty members from other departments and from other colleges, and the family members of Suganya and our dear students. May the wisdom of Mr. Sampath Kumar enlighten our thoughts and inspire our minds. We humbly seek your favor upon Dr. Christiana Singh, the Principal and Secretary. We praise you for her able leadership and guidance as the head of the department and head of this institution. May this event serve as a wellspring of inspiration, nurturing a spirit among all the participants. We extend our gratitude for the opportunities to learn, grow, and form meaningful bonds of friendship and mentorship. May this gathering stand as a testament to the pursuit of knowledge and the cherished values that uphold it. Bless every one of us assembled here and help us to make the best use of it. In your holy name we pray. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Helen, for setting a reflective and auspicious tone for this afternoon. Next, we have Mrs. Janaki Ganapati, Assistant Professor in the Department of Economics at Lady Dock College, to welcome the gathering.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is with immense pride that I stand before you today to extend a warm welcome to each one of you to this auspicious occasion, the award ceremony of Best Teacher in Economics 2023-24 by Malcolm and Adishesha Trust, Chennai. It is a great privilege for me to welcome our respected chief guest, Dr. Venkatachalam, Professor, RBI Chair, Madras Institute of Development Studies, Chennai, and Trustee of Malcolm and Elizabeth Adishesha Trust, Chennai. He did his MA and MPhil in Economics at Annamalai University and PhD from the University of Madras through MIDS. He has rich experience in the field of environmental economics, behavioral economics, economic theory, and development economics. To add up another feather in his cap, he is also a visiting faculty to Indian Institute of Management, Amritsar, Kozhikode, Madras School of Economics, and Central University of Tamil Nadu, Thiruvadur. His list of publications and achievements are endless, and I am sure that you will all agree with me that he is an apt person for presenting the Best Teacher Award to Dr. K. Suganya. I welcome Professor Venkatachalam to our esteemed institution and Department of Economics. A hearty welcome to you, sir.
Now, I request our beloved principal, Dr. Christiana Singh, to honor the guest with a small memento. I request Dr. Venkatachalam to accept the small memento as a token of love and gratitude.
Now, I extend a hearty welcome to Mr. D. Sampath Kumar, Chairman, Scientific Research Association for Economics and Finance. He is also a journalist and former chief editor, The Hindu Business Line. He did his bachelor degree in statistics from the University of Madras and proceeded to qualify as a chartered accountant. He entered into service as a management trainee at the Machine Tool Division of Cooper Engineering Limited. Then he joined the Tata Engineering and Locomotive Company in 1976, what is now Tata Motors. In the mid of his career, he switched from industry to academics, joined the Institute for Financial Management and Research as a faculty member. Besides contributing to the Institute Executive Development Programs, he undertook a number of consulting and research assignments in strategic and financial management areas. He joined the Hindu Business Line as a corporate editor just before the newspaper was launched in 1994. He has written extensively on financial market and macroeconomic policy. He served in the position of editor, Business Line from 2011 to 2013. He has also served as an adjunct faculty at the Asian College of Journalism, Chennai. We are glad to have in our midst to witness this prestigious event. We welcome you, sir.
I request Dr. Helen Mary Jacqueline, the Dean of Academic Affairs and Associate Professor in the Department of Economics, to honor Mr. Sampath Kumar with a small memento.
I am very much delighted to welcome Dr. Christiana Singh, Principal and Secretary, Professor and Head of the Department of Economics, Lady Doe College. She is a very dynamic person and a constant source of motivation to faculty members as well as the students. As the leader of our educational institution, your guidance and vision have been instrumental in shaping the future of our students. Your commitment to excellence and dedication to fostering a nurturing learning environment have left an indelible mark on our college community. I extend a hearty welcome to you, ma'am. I also welcome Dr. David Amidaraj, former Dean of Madurai Kamarajar University, and Dr. Jnana Soundari, former Head and Associate Professor of Department of Economics, Lady Doe College, to this award ceremony. Further, I welcome Dr. Sugandha Ramamurthy, retired Associate Professor, Department of Economics, Lady Doe College, to this event. Now, I welcome faculty members from other colleges, Dr. Deena Dayalan, Associate Professor and Head, Department of Economics, Majora College, Dr. Sadasivam, Associate Professor, Department of Environmental Economics, Madurai Kamarajar University, Dr. R. Albrecht Christopher Das, former Director, Management Studies and retired Associate Professor of Economics, The American College, and Dr. Pravina, Assistant Professor, Department of Economics, Fatima College, to this award ceremony. I also welcome Dr. Vijayarani, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Dr. Mercy Pakiyam, Controller of Examination, and Assistant Controller Esther and all, Associate Professor, Department of History, Dr. Srilata, Dr. Vijayarani, and all other department colleagues. I welcome you all for this special occasion. It is our sincere pleasure to extend a warm and joyous welcome to the esteemed family members of Dr. K. Suganya, her respected parents, Mr. Kumaravel and Mrs. Selvi, who laid the foundation stone for her success, her loving husband, Dr. Deepan, who has been her pillar of strength, and cherished children, Divine Benedict and Chris, and also her brother and Annie. Your presence at this event is the testament to the unity and strength of the family bond. Hearty welcome to the family. I also extend words welcome to my fellow faculty members and beloved students to this award ceremony. Once again, I welcome you all to this auspicious occasion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Janaki, for extending a warm welcome. Now, let's hear from a leader whose guidance has been pivotal in shaping the academic landscape of Lady Doe College. I take the privilege in inviting Dr. Christiana Singh, the Principal, Secretary, Professor, and the Head of the Department of Economics, to render her presidential address.
Good afternoon to all, one and all gathered here. It is a very good afternoon actually, because this is a very special moment for all of us, that one of our own is being recognized as the best teacher in economics. And what makes it even more special is she is an alumna of Lady Doe College, spent her formative years here from 2006 to 2009 as doing her BA in economics, 2009 to 2011 Master of Arts in economics, and then she went into her PhD work. It went on and on for quite some time, because this is a person who knows no boundaries, you know. So that is the spirit of Suganya that we celebrate today. As an extended family. We celebrate you because you have actually gone past what people consider as boundaries. Let me tell you this, Suganya as a student, and this is mainly to inspire the younger ones over here. Suganya as a student always went the extra mile. And Suganya as a student, I got these papers here, but I'm just saying this from memory. Suganya as a student went to Scotland, right? At a time, father took her, took her to Scotland to present a paper. And that was Suganya. And Suganya as a student took those extra, courses, self-learning courses. Suganya as a student, she excelled. The subjects that I taught were computer related, and she was always one of the ones way out on top, thinking out of the box, very creative. Suganya, again as a student, when she took up her PhD research, actually even I wondered, because her guide is a very close friend of mine, so I wondered, Suganya, இது வந்து economics-ஆ? Is it psychology? What? Where will you get your, how will you collect your data? Suganya didn't give up. And that speaks for the 8 years of effort that she put into it. And Suganya then, also came into Lady Doe College as a very young teacher. So you feel very proud, right? When one of your own comes to ably assist you now, not just as your student, but there she's sitting there as a colleague. And Suganya has been way out in getting involved in technology, okay, again very close to my heart, and exploring ways in which she can bring her classes to life. Even in yesterday's AQAR meeting, the internal meeting that we had, Suganya had put something over there. What was it? Instagram. She said this is an Instagram link, economics department Instagram. So I said, what is that Instagram? And everyone had a laugh because I was the head of the Department of Economics and also the principal of the college. And I was asking, what is this Instagram? So she said, ma'am, we have a page. Environmental Economics Awareness Creation page. And the link was supposed to be a link to that page. Now I can well imagine in today's context, I always say today's teachers cannot teach with yesterday's methods, right? To prepare students for tomorrow. That's way off the mark. But I see my young colleague over here brimming with enthusiasm and energy to bring economics to life, to bring the world to her students, to encourage them to be creative, proactive, involved, engaged, making all the effort possible to bring economics to life. Actually, it doesn't need much effort because we as economists celebrate the fact that we have a great discipline and it probably rules the world. Because if you know how to make right choices, not just to make money, but you make right choices for your life. And when you don't give up, when you're not stopped by boundaries, when you can prepare for the future, move ahead, push those boundaries further away, that is the inspiration that Suganya is sharing with us now. Because her efforts, even at this early stage of her career, she has got this recognition from the Malcolm and Elizabeth Ardsacia Trust, an organization that actively supports the study of economics. I had the benefit of that as well, because even as a student of, postgraduate student of MCC, half the time we would be in the MIDS library, I still remember even learning how to, I mean, it was a good way of experiencing life because the research scholars and the professors over there were very encouraging. So they made me what I am today. I still remember Dr. Nagaraj's file. Those days, there was no computer, but everything was handwritten. And he had, papers and papers of data and file, and I learnt that, okay, this is the way you handle data. That was before the computer age, as of now. Dr. M.S.S. Pandian taught me how to handle that coffee. It will come in those tumblers, and when it was served, I didn't know how to, he said, this is how you do it. So you learnt a lot of things. And this is a place that, that has such big names to their credit. And we are honored that Dr. Venkatachalam is with us. He was in our board of studies, very actively engaged with us. There are many stalwarts. I can just think of names, but I don't want to eat away much of your time. I want to celebrate my colleagues who are here from other institutions, also best teachers, right? Thank you so much for your presence over here. It means a lot to have all of us together like this, my colleagues from other departments. Probably when we think of ways in which we encourage learning, encourage people to foster a good academic environment. The people in economics are fortunate to have the Malcolm and Elizabeth Ardisesha Trust to keep supporting us. By the way, I was also a recipient of the research fellowship from the Malcolm and Elizabeth Ardisesha Trust. So these are opportunities for even other disciplines to think, okay, can Lady Doak College have a research chair in this particular area? Can we also develop into centers which, celebrate success as a teacher or as a researcher in a big way? So this is part of our planning. So thanks to all my friends, colleagues from other departments who are here. We know Suganya, Dr. Suganya, and I'm grateful that Lady Doak College in this very year, that is before I retire, Suganya has brought this kind of a recognition to Lady Doak College, the Department of Economics at Lady Doak College. God bless you, Suganya. You have surmounted innumerable challenges, and challenges there will always be. But from what I have observed, it brings the best in you. God bless you.
Thank you, Dr. Christiana Singh. We are fortunate to hear your beautiful words. Now, it's a moment we have all been eagerly awaiting, the presentation of the Malcolm and Elizabeth Ardisesha Trust Best Teacher Award in the field of economics. To do the honors, let's welcome Professor L. Venkatachalam, Officiating Director and RBI Chair Professor at the Madras Institute of Development Studies and the Trustee of Malcolm and Elizabeth Ardisesha Trust in Chennai.
Good afternoon to all of you. I'm really very happy to be here as part of this very important event. So I would like to read the citation. This is regarding the Malcolm and Elizabeth Ardisesha Trust Best Teacher Award for the year 2023-24, presented to Dr. K. Suganya. Dr. K. Suganya is an assistant professor of economics with Lady Doak College. She is a strong advocate for student-centered learning and has developed a variety of innovative teaching methodologies to engage her students. She is also a strong believer in the use of technology to enhance the learning experience. Her teaching philosophy is based on the belief that all students have the potential to succeed. She strives to create a classroom environment that is both challenging and supportive, and she is always looking for new ways to improve her teaching. Dr. Suganya employs a variety of engaging teaching methods to keep her students captivated throughout the learning process. Her arsenal of teaching techniques includes active learning approaches such as concept maps, problem-solving exercises, and case studies, which foster active participation and conceptual understanding. She effectively utilizes visuals and data to illustrate key concepts, making them more concrete and accessible to her students. Additionally, Dr. Suganya seamlessly integrates technology into her teaching, employing learning management systems or LMS, Google Classroom, economic games, and online quizzes to enhance the learning experience. She incorporates alternative assessment methods such as portfolios and presentations to evaluate students' ability to apply their knowledge and demonstrate their creative and critical thinking skills. Through continuous assessments, Dr. Suganya provides students with regular feedback on their progress, which enables them to make timely adjustments to their learning strategies. Dr. Suganya's research interests align with her commitment to addressing pressing social issues and contributing to positive societal change. Her research endeavors delve into the lived experiences of marginalized communities, exploring the socio-economic conditions, challenges, and forms of discrimination faced by individuals living with HIV. She also delves into the economic implications of alcoholism, examining the impact of the substance abuse issue on individuals, families, and communities. Additionally, Dr. Suganya's research extends to the realm of education, investigating student attitudes towards online courses and the pervasiveness of mobile phone usage. Through her research, Dr. Suganya seeks to illuminate the complexities of these social issues, contributing to a deeper understanding of their causes and consequences, and paving the way for effective interventions and policy solutions. Dr. K. Suganya is a dedicated and passionate teacher who is committed to providing her students with the best possible learning experience. She is a role model for her students. The Malcolm and Elizabeth Adisesha Trust is pleased to bestow upon her the Best Teacher in Economics Award for the year 2023-24. And this citation is signed by Dr. C. Selvaraj, Chairman, Malcolm and Elizabeth Adisesha Trust. On behalf of Malcolm and Elizabeth Adisesha Trust and MIDS, I congratulate Dr. Suganya and hand over this citation. She also won a cash award of 30,000, and on behalf of Malcolm and Adisesha Trust, I present this check. Thank you so much.
A hearty congratulations to the recipient. Now, in a spirit of warmth and celebration, let's give a grand welcome to the awardee with the immense pleasure.
Thank you. Standing here, holding this prestigious award, I would like to thank Jesus the Almighty for all his blessings throughout my life. And I'm overwhelmed with emotions like surprise, immense joy, and overall overflowing gratitude. It's a surreal moment for someone who once stumbled into the world of economics from the realm of science. But this journey wouldn't have been possible without the unwavering support and belief of many individuals who stood by me throughout. Distinguished guests, my teachers, my colleagues, my dear students, ladies and gentlemen, before I proceed, I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the immense privilege of receiving this recognition. It signifies not just my personal achievements, but rather a collective victory made possible by the support of those who have walked beside me every step of the way. First and foremost, I want to thank my dad, Mr. Kumaravel, a businessman from Coimbatore. He was my rock, cheerleader, and my constant source of encouragement. Whatever I say, he believes. Whatever I say, for that matter. And he has even saved all the documents that he feels that it's important, like my 10th standard board exam hall ticket, 12th standard, and it goes on till the handbook which had my name as Vice President of the Student Council when I was doing my undergraduation. So he thinks that all those are important for him. So he have all that with him even now. And he always been so proud of me. Even now he's actually with tears, I could see him. And he has supported me in all the ways. And my mother, Mrs. Selvi Kumaravel, a very calm person, a homemaker, whose unconditional love and sacrifices paved the way for my journey. Now, stepping into the Lady Dove College as an economics student, I held a blank canvas in my hands, unaware of the vibrant colors economics would paint upon it. My journey began with a head full of dreams and a heart brimming with aspirations, yet the path ahead remained shrouded with mist. In this uncertain landscape, it was the staunchest belief of my professors that unveiled my potential, igniting a spark within me and fueling my resolve to chase my positions and my passions. I was fortunate to have encountered an exceptional group of mentors, starting from Dr. Kasturibai Dhanasekaran, Dr. Pushpavali, Dr. Jnanasundari, Dr. Mumtaz, Dr. Nachitra Jyoti, Dr. Christiana Singh, Dr. Kamala Robson, Dr. Sugantha Ramamurthy, Dr. Helen, Mrs. Janaki, Dr. Devi Priya, Mrs. Ruth Rebecca, and Dr. Anita Selvaraj. Their guidance ignited my passion for economics, shaped my thinking, and instilled in me the values of a true teacher. I owe a special debt of gratitude to Dr. Kasturibai Dhanasekaran, who saw my leadership potential when I served as Vice President of the Student Council. Dr. Mumtaz not only encouraged me to present paper at the University of Aberdeen, but she became my research supervisor and mentor, forever changing the trajectory of my career. Each professor left a distinct mark on my learning journey, like Dr. Pushpavali's masterful learning of econometrics, Dr. Mumtaz's rigorous approach to research methodology and statistics, Dr. Christiana Singh's unique blend of computer applications and quantitative techniques were instrumental. Dr. Helen's clear explanation of the complex concepts and steadfast composure were a constant source of inspiration, while Mrs. Janaki Ganapathy passionate delivering in her content and Dr. Devi Priya's unwavering push for excellence served as powerful motivations. Mrs. Ruth Rebecca, my teacher and my academic advisor, she has become more than just a mentor. She has become a friend. She was my anchor, guiding me through tough decisions with unshakable support. Her constant reminder to always choose the ethical path, never compromising my values, instilled in me the importance of integrity and moral character. I am forever grateful for her friendship and guidance. My confidence soared as I began to excel in various areas. I won prizes in diverse competitions, from expressing economic issues through collage and rangoli to captivating the audience with dance and even embodying the grace of a Japanese woman in the Miss LDC pageant. The list goes on. My academic pursuits extended beyond the classroom as I presented in papers at national and international conferences. And I got an inspiration from Dr. Deena Dayalan when I went to Majora College, where he was inspiring the students, motivating the students who's at the back. So I got inspired then. And Dr. Jnana Sundari, then head of the department, she recognized my potential and she used to entrust me with the honor of felicitating the retiring faculty. And I really enjoyed. My winning streak continued as I secured second place in the Malcolm Elizabeth Adisesha Trust's essay writing competition at Tyagaraja College. So this prestigious trust reward learning with generous book vouchers that led me to achieve many more recognitions. So when I got this second prize in my first PG, I wanted more and I wanted more. So I went on to the next year and I've grabbed the first prize and I've got the vouchers to get books. So all those books, and in our college I have received the recognition with the Certificate of Academic Merit, Certificate of Honor, and the Shanti Hariharan Memorial Prize. So all these, whenever I receive an award, I have been given the books, so which really shaped me. And I wanted to make a special mention of Dr. Praveena. She's an alumni of our department. She has actually ignited a spark within me by encouraging me to pursue a PhD directly after my MA, bypassing the traditional MPhil program. So inspired by her words, I approached Dr. Mumtaj to seek her guidance in my PhD supervising. Meanwhile, Dr. Devi Priya, she fueled by her passion for student success, organized a coaching class led by Dr. Maria John Kennedy to prepare students for the challenging lecturership examinations. With a sense of accomplishment and a heart brimming with knowledge, I completed my MA degree in 2011. And then came the love of my life, Dr. Deepan, the homeopathy physician, who championed my love for learning. He saw the teacher in me and encouraged me to equip myself with every tool I needed. But my family wouldn't be complete without the support of my in-laws. My father-in-law, late Dr. Krishnan, retired block medical officer, a pillar of strength, who saw the professor in me before I even dared to dream it. He shared my potential with my parents and my grandparents, weaving a web of unwavering belief around me. And my mother-in-law, Mrs. Leedhimani, a retired principal of Noise Matriculation High Secondary School. She's an English teacher. And also a zoologist. Has been my tireless editor, research partner, confidant. Her meticulous corrections of my scripts, research papers, and even letters have been invaluable, enriching my work with her wisdom and knowledge, both economics and the wider world. We used to have debates among us. Whenever I go home, she used to be ready with a current topic, wherein she will be defending with me, saying that, is it not this, Suganya? Then I used to tell her that these are the consequences. So we used to have debate. Then I gave birth to my baby boy, Divine Benedict, in 2012. In the midst of motherhood, with my 7-month-old son, Divine Benedict by my side, I took the set examination. And after that, Dr. Jnana Sundari recognized my potential and urged me to pursue the path of an assistant professor. After I aced the set exam in my first attempt in 2012, nestled within the nurturing walls of my college, a beacon of academic excellence, I found the support that shaped my journey. I am deeply indebted to Dr. Mercy Pushpalata, then principal, for believing in my potential and providing me with invaluable opportunities. By deputing me to attend various training programs, she nurtured my skills and helped me blossom. Being appointed as the coordinator for Center for Entrepreneurship Development further fine-tuned my leadership abilities. Dr. Christiana Singh took up the position of principal, but I was fortunate to continue to receive invaluable opportunities and support. Thank you, ma'am. Notably, I was sponsored by United Board for Christian Higher Education to participate in the Harvard Bach Higher Education Teaching online course. This experience proved pivotal in shaping my teaching philosophy and led to the creation of my first teaching portfolio, which aligned with the college's curriculum as well as with the college mission statement. Embarking on motherhood again with the arrival of my daughter, Chris Gabriela, I pursued my journey with the steadfast support of my family, pursuing my doctoral degree despite the complexities, n number of complexities inherent in the topic of alcoholism. I persevered and ultimately defended my PhD dissertation in 2020. After finishing my doctoral degree, I know I needed to add data analytics to my toolbox. So I grabbed a chance to do a PG diploma in business analytics through BITS Pilani's work integrated learning program. Meanwhile, recognizing the challenges I faced in reaching slow learners and Tamil medium students, I dared to do something for them. Dr. Srilata and Mrs. Vidya, driven by their desire to support teachers, spearheaded a proposal to United Board for Christian Higher Education. This proposal resulted in capacity building program on design thinking and student-centered learning techniques in 2019. Due to the pandemic, we were fortunate to receive the second opportunity to participate in this valuable program. By actively applying the teaching techniques I learned, I have been able to effectively reach out to all types of learners, all my Tamil medium students and value-based education students. Even before the pandemic, my college generously provided me with the opportunity to serve on the online education committee. I would like to express my gratitude to the committee and its dedicated coordinator, Dr. Shivapriya, for equipping me with valuable skills in ICT tools and effective use of open educational resources in teaching learning. By integrating these tools with student-centered learning approaches, I have created a more engaging and impactful learning environment for my students. The enthusiasm and the encouragement of my colleagues have motivated me to continue seeking out additional learning opportunities and refining my teaching practices. So this afternoon, the Malcolm Elizabeth Adishesha Trust has done more than just honor me with an award. They have reignited a flame within me, not just for myself, but for the future generation I stand before. They have entrusted me with the incredible privilege of carrying their torch, of being the spark that ignites the potential within the students I am fortunate enough to guide. I stand here not just as an individual receiving recognition, but as a vessel. I am conduit for your faith, your vision, and your commitment to empowering young minds. And I promise you, I will not let that flame flicker or fade. In my classroom, I will be your echo, Malcolm Trust. I will challenge, I will encourage, I will celebrate every hesitant question, every bold idea, every spark of potential. I will remind my students that their voices matter, that their ideas deserve to be heard, and that their dreams have the power to change the world. And perhaps one day, one of these students will stand on this very stage holding their own Malcolm Adishesha Trust, ready to ignite the future. Because the greatest legacy we can leave behind is not recognition we receive for ourselves, but the fire that we ignite with others. And today, the Malcolm Trust, you have gifted me not just an award, but a torch that I carry with pride, humility, and with belief that the brightest future is not just possible, it is already burning brightly within us. Thank you, Malcolm Trust. Thank you for believing in me, and thank you for giving me the honor of paying it forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Suganya, for sharing your profound thoughts and reflections with us. Your words resonate with inspiration and embody the spirit of excellence that this award represents. We are truly honored to have you grace this occasion, and let's once again express our hearty congratulations with a round of applause. Our program continues to soar greater heights with a guest of honor, a distinguished personality. Please join me in extending a warm welcome with all due respect to Mr. Sampath Kumar, the Chief Editor of Hindu Business Line.
Good afternoon. When I saw so many people walking out, I was a little shaken, but I take that more. No, I was just joking, of course. I said, I have not even started to speak and they're walking out. It can't be that controversial then. Professor Dr. Christiana Singh, Principal and Secretary of the Lady Doe College, Professor Venkatachalam, Trustee of the Malcolm and Elizabeth Adiseshaya Trust, Professor Suganya, successful recipient of the award of Best Economics Teacher for the current academic year 23-24, members of the faculty of Lady Doe College, students, and ladies and gentlemen. It gives me immense pleasure to be here with you on the occasion of felicitation to Professor Suganya. Now, not only that it is an occasion for us to celebrate joyously, but it is also an occasion, personally for me, that I am always happy to be in the community of teachers, and what can be a better opportunity than being invited by Professor Suganya to be present here on this occasion. But I must confess to feeling a bit perplexed when Professor Suganya spoke to me over the phone and invited me to be the chief guest, give a special lecture. I was perplexed because only just that morning, I had received a mail from the Asian College of Journalism saying that Professor Utsa Patnaik has been recognized for her contribution to development studies, and she's being presented with the award by the Malcolm and Elizabeth Adiseshaya Trust. So I was wondering, someone was playing an April Fool joke on me about 5 months before the due date. So, but subsequently the penny dropped, as the saying goes, and everything was clarified that these are two separate awards and recognition. And of course, it gave me immense pleasure to be here with you and share the joy that I can see all of you are experiencing in the award that has been presented to Professor Suganya. Now, I'm firmly of the opinion that no amount of recognition is enough for the teachers. You know, a society that does not recognize the value and contribution of teachers is bound to fail in the long run. So that Malcolm Elizabeth Adiseshaya Trust is actually recognizing the role and contribution of specific teachers itself is a very, very creditable thing. Now, just as a bit of recording the history, that the teaching profession was extremely, considered as a valuable profession. Not just a valuable profession, but it was also an extremely lucrative and remunerative profession. In the 40s and 50s, the best students would either opt for a career in government service or would opt to be a teacher. I can testify to this from my own personal knowledge, because two of my uncles, despite the opportunities that were available to them otherwise, chose to become teachers. My one uncle, after a BA honors in English literature, had the offer of superintendent of the revenue board of the Madras presidency, which, let me tell you, back in the 1940s and 50s is a phenomenal position to hold. But he gave that up, my grandmother used to say that he cannot take bribes, so therefore there's no point in him feeling miserable and after having taken up the job. So he ended up being a ground training school instructor in the Royal Indian Air Force pre-1947 days. And there was another one who also was a university gold medalist in BSc Physics, another uncle of mine. And he also, consciously opted to become a higher secondary grade teacher in the well-known MCT Muthiah Chettiar High School, which was again, was probably a bit of a come down, because after the government service beckoned, he again chose to be a teacher. So therefore, I have deep connections from a family perspective to the profession of teaching, and mercifully, I also had the opportunity, however brief it was, to be a teacher for a while. But of course, having said that, things had changed in the post-1950s because the capacity of the educational institutions to honor the teachers with reasonably remunerative rewards lagged behind, and therefore many good, worthwhile students gravitated to non-teaching professions, and which is a real loss for the teaching profession. But things kind of corrected themselves, I think, sometime in 1973-74, when the University Grants Commission recognized the role of teachers, and one of my seniors in the college, actually after an MA in English literature, decided to become a lecturer in the English department at the Madras Christian College. And I remember I ran into him at the local vegetarian light refreshment stall in front of the college campus. And he said that, look, these days the salaries are good. So I decided that I will take up teaching as a profession. So I was very happy for that, because things have at last changed for the better, and that's something to be proud about. I'm digressing part, and I must mention that I'm at the age where you're past the middle age and not quite can regard oneself as old age. So I consider this intermediate period as anecdote age, where you are all the time remembering anecdotes and experiences from the years past, and therefore I thought I should share these perspectives with you. Continuing in the vein of anecdote age, let me share my own experience of being the recipient of some terrific piece of mentorship by my teachers. And I owe my first debt of gratitude to Venkatraman sir, class teacher section B of Devi Primary School, a school run by the Srirangam municipality. It was he who sowed the first seeds of a passion for books that I acquired in the later years. I do not recall the circumstances quite exactly, but it so happened that he was required to handle the students of both Section A and Section B of 5th standard, because my teacher, 5th standard A teacher, was absent for some reason. So he could have chosen to just bunch them all together and taught whatever he would normally have taught. Because in those days, the class strengths were no more than 15 or 20. So two sections combined together also didn't really pose much of a problem for a teacher. But he chose to engage the students in a very engaging way or interesting way. And so what did he do? He chose to tell us the story of The Merchant of Venice, a very well-known Shakespearean play. He was not just telling us the story as much as he was actually acting out the role, as it were, of various characters in the play. In fact, I distinctly remember his doing the mono acting of Portia pleading with Shylock to spare the pound of flesh that was promised in the loan agreement. All of you would have known, or those of you who are students of literature would know, that the quality of mercy is not strained, and goes on like that. So now after that, I was transported to another world, that there is a world full of books and experiences that you don't have to live through that era, but you can, through the medium of books, can learn all those things or experience those things. The other teacher that I particularly would recall with affection and admiration is Shamsuddin Khan at Corley High School in Tambaram, and my class teacher for Standard 6 to Standard 8. He was unique in his own way. You must remember that in the era when I was starting high school, English was not a subject except except from the 5th standard. So therefore in the 5th standard, even then we were only taught the English alphabet, and that too we just had to learn only the first alphabet, and maybe some 50 words, that would be about all the vocabulary in English language that we were taught at that time. And those words were again something that today would seem like a commonplace words. Things like a book, a box, a bag, with all the illustrations of that. And, it was fun in a way. Then in the 6th standard, when I joined Corley High School, the teacher Shamsuddin Khan said that in the English class, everybody should speak only in English. Now, I was taken aback. I thought that, this was an extreme imposition on us because we just didn't know. But thankfully, there were a few students who had, exposure to English medium instruction. And so whenever the teacher would ask a question, the hands would immediately shoot up, wanting to answer the question. And thankfully, there were enough of those students, so I was spared the dread that one day he will just turn to me and said, come on, answer this question. And I wouldn't know how to answer it in English. But I observed how the other students were responding to these questions. Take an example like, why did Rama not go to school today? The answer would invariably, Rama did not go to school because. So that means you learn by just observing that how sentences are constructed and how in its full form they acquire a meaning of their own. Now, I would like to think that this demand that everybody speak only in English language in the English class did help me to some extent in acquiring a proficiency, which I would like to think that had in some small way shaped up my career as a journalist also. Now, I've bored you enough with my recollections of a bygone era. So now let me come to the main topic of the hand, that is India on the cusp of becoming an economics superpower? Now, forget about even asserting such a proposition. The mere posing of it as a hypothetical possibility, I run the risk of being ridiculed out of existence for daring to make even such a claim in the first place. And in fact, I must take courage from the fact that many people have made predictions which later on turned out to be spectacularly wrong. And I can recall one or two well-known instances. In 1929, Professor Irving Fisher said the stock market had reached a permanent plateau of high values, and just within one day thereafter, we all saw that there was a huge crash in the US stock market, which led to a recession, and United States took years to recover from that. And then there was this vice president of the shipping line, which commissioned the Titanic. And what was his words? He said, "This boat is unsinkable and nothing but inconvenience will be suffered by the passenger just ahead of the maiden voyage." And we know how that story ended. But having said that, my proposition may not seem so outlandish as it may appear at first sight. After all, when the Harvard Business Review featured India's potential as an economic power in the September 23 issue of the Harvard Business Review, then I think we are on to something here. And Harvard Business Review is not alone. Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, and many other investment bankers have proclaimed the possibility that India could become an extremely powerful force in the global economy. So how am I going to approach this proposition that India is on the cusp of becoming an economic superpower? So I'm going to state certain propositions which seem that can be taken as basically facts, and from there it will inevitably lead to a conclusion that maybe the economic power status is just within India's grasp. Now let me take the consuming class. The starting point of any discussion on the inevitability of India's rise as an economic superpower is the huge population of 140 crores strong, a number that is the stuff of every marketeer's dream. It has a demographic profile that is even more advantageous, and that demographic profile is tilted more towards the younger and younger population, and the sheer numbers are such that there are few economies which can rival the kind of consuming class that India possesses at this moment, with the possible exception of China. Although in sheer numbers, we have already overtaken China, or about to overtake China, and it's just a matter of time before I think we would be on to a permanent high demographic profile, even as China's working age population declines. It's one thing to have a relatively youngish population, and quite another for that to translate into higher demand for goods and services. Thankfully, India is poised to witness a decent growth in real wages. A CNBC news report that I read some time ago mentions that there has been a growth in real earnings among the Indian working population, which obviously means that it should translate into demand for more and more goods and services. And the recent CSO data also seem to support the proposition that our growth rate is nothing to sneeze at, and at 7.6% is the number for July, September, in real terms, is a very good rate of growth, and it is easily the most outstanding record of growth in the global economy across all countries. Now, again, while there has been a push towards consumption through what is now politically known as the revenue schemes or freebies schemes, I think, Tamil Nadu, we have just seen, or Karnataka has just seen, Tamil Nadu was probably a forerunner in 2021, but I think now in Karnataka we are seeing that free bus passes for women and all kinds of other freebies that have become the fashion of the day. Now, many industries which have reached kind of a mature level of growth, India is seeing some really phenomenal growth. A classic example would be private health insurance. This market has seen such a high growth that the American insurance companies are making a beeline to the Indian market and somehow trying to really make a go despite some very, very stiff competition from existing companies. Now, capturing Indian market requires a very context-specific innovation. Whatever may be the inherent potential for sustained growth and demand, businesses cannot assume that it will automatically translate into higher sales for their product. I remember many years ago, the French car maker, Renault Nissan, it's actually a company that commands a fairly sizable chunk of the French automobile market, and together with Nissan commands a fairly high market share in Japanese automobile market. Now, Carlos Ghosn had come to the Hindu office to speak to the journalists about what their plans for the India market is. And he made a very interesting observation that I recall even now. He said, when I see on the roads the Maruti Alto 800, frankly, I don't think of it much as an automobile. But I cannot ignore the fact that this car is the largest selling car in the Indian market. It was so then, and it is so even today. In fact, Maruti Suzuki commands a 40% market share in the Indian automobile market. And I remember someone asking me as a former journalist, what do you think is the future of so many companies in the Indian automobile market? I said, with the possible exception of Suzuki and Tata Motors, because they have a commercial vehicle portfolio which is very, very huge in the Indian market. So I said only these two car companies, and Toyota, because they are the parent company of Suzuki, they will continue to have some kind of a presence in the Indian market. But otherwise, I don't see great hopes for many of these companies that have come into the Indian market in recent years. Yes, they may probably offer vehicles at a very, very attractive price and even capture exceptional growth from one month to the next month. But are they capable of surviving for a number of years going into the future? I have my own doubts. So therefore, you need to be very context specific. Now, another example I can think of is that Kellogg's, I think they came into the market ahead of probably many other consumer goods companies. They are even today struggling to sell their cornflakes. And the average Indian is unable to look beyond the idli dosas in the South India and the aloo parathas in the North. And that's where they are. But having said that, McDonald's is a completely different example. What did they do? Yes, they were more famous for the meat burgers, but they have actually introduced a lot of Indian menu options. And today, every franchisee of McDonald's in this country is a billionaire. And Jubilant Foodworks is a listed company in the Indian stock market. They are the master franchisees for, what is that? Pizza Hut, Domino's, yes. Now, that company, when I was only just looking at the recent numbers, the company has a market capitalization of 37,000 crores. Now, you would have thought that a company that sells pizzas shouldn't really have that kind of a market capitalization, but that is what it is. And what did they do? Even they also tried to alter the menu to the Indian palate, and that was extremely successful. And so much so, the potential for future growth is so high that if an investor were to buy 1 rupee of profit in Jubilant Foodworks, he will have to shell out 127 rupees for every 1 rupee of profit. That's a huge number. I mean, when we talk about even IT companies like Infosys and Wipro commanding a premium of 30 times a rupee of profits, this company is in the 130, 140 range. So in other words, what does this show? That the Jubilant Foodworks, the investors believe that the growth will be so high in the years to come that even if I buy it at 127 rupees for 1 rupee of profit, because of the growth potential, it would still be worthwhile for me and generate an attractive return in the future. Now, another interesting phenomenon that is acquiring relevance in the Indian context is the transition to a greener economy. After 30 years of being in the power generation business, I remember many years ago, I was traveling from Tuticorin to Tirunelveli to Kanyakumari, and I suddenly hit upon a stretch of the road where on either side of the road you had those fancy windmills. And I was asking the people around as to what explains this phenomenon, because I have not come across this in any other part of Tamil Nadu, or for that matter, in other parts of the country. So they said that I think, I forget the name of that place. I think it is called Muppandal. It is at a wind confluence of the winds from the Bay of Bengal and the Arabian Sea. So during the southwest monsoon, there is a strong wind that is blowing in from the Arabian Sea, which extends into October, November, December. Those of you who had some connections to Chennai would now remember as to how that can be quite an awesome force. So now, that was 20 years ago, 2002, when I was traveling from Tirunelveli to Kanyakumari on a holiday trip. But today, if you actually drive down on the national highways in any part of the country, you will see those tractor trailers parked by the side of the road during the daytime, waiting for the dusk to settle, and then will once again resume their journey. First, I thought that these were all, the wings of some giant aircraft that's being transported to Hindustan Aeronautics in Bangalore or something like that. But in reality, these were all blades of windmills which are being installed at different parts of the country. And how did this become possible? This became possible because technology for wind power generation had improved. That even if the wind force is very nominal, it is possible for a project in windmill sector to be established and produce enough electricity for the investment to be financially viable. And of course, India is hoping to produce 500,000 megawatts of renewable energy, which is wind and solar and possibly even green hydrogen and so on. They are, I think, expecting to achieve this by the year 2030. In fact, that is one of the commitments in the Conference of Parties which gathered in Paris to commit each country was committing itself to some goal. And what is the job potential for this particular emphasis on greening of the economy? Now, World Bank estimates that in India, there will be 50 million new green jobs, just relating to renewable energy sources. In fact, 50 million jobs can in turn generate something like 15 trillion in economic opportunity in 2017, and 1 trillion to be realized by 2030 itself. You may say that green jobs are fine, but we are at the end of it all, 140 crore people and counting. A good chunk of them are in the working age group. Every year, a fresh set of people are coming into the ranks of those looking for jobs. Does the non-green economy have the potential to absorb these people into gainful employment opportunities? And here again, the data looks very promising. Now, I was looking at the Provident Fund data because these have become very controversial in recent years. They are saying that unemployment is all-pervasive and so on. So just the organized sector, which is what the Provident Fund data seeks to capture, how many jobs have they generated? Now, according to the census data of 2001, the birth rate in the India at that time, which has actually since gone down with every successive census, it is only 25 per thousand, which means on an average, 2.5 crore people, assuming that people enter the working age population at different points of time. Some people may enter it as soon as you complete your +2. Some others may enter the employment ranks after completing their graduation, and a few others may go on to do masters also. So if we take that, the upper limit for this cannot exceed 2.5 crores, because the birth rate in 2001 is what is going to mean, or 2003 is what is going to mean into the job ranks in 2023. So if that number is 25 crores, how much is the organized sector alone is generating in terms of employment? You'd be very surprised to know that each month, I'm talking about very recent numbers, that is April to September data which the Labor Ministry has released. Each month, the economy has been, or the Provident Fund organization has been adding something like 10 lakh jobs every month. So in other words, you are looking at, for a whole year, annualizing it, you are looking at something like 1.2 crore jobs in the organized sector alone. Now, that's not small. Considering that the total size of the people for looking for jobs cannot exceed 2.5 crores. So if organized sector alone is providing 1.2 crore jobs every year, I definitely think that that's a very, very positive sign. And this 1.2 is only the organized sector. You take into account the unorganized sector, from anything from Swiggy's and Zomato deliveries to all kinds of other unorganized sector jobs. And of course, there are also a large number of self-employed. I mean, here again, data looks very, very promising. For instance, if you look at the data of the periodic labor force survey is another interesting piece of information. And it is now saying that from an unemployment ratio of something like 6.7%, it is now down to 3.6%. So therefore, we have not completely licked the problem of unemployment in the Indian economy, but we are certainly getting a grip on the problem to the extent that we are actually making a dent on that. So the latest data for 22-23 shows that unemployment rate is currently estimated at 3.2%, down from 6.1 in fiscal 2017-18. Now, of course, many people have problems with accepting periodic labor force survey data because at the end of the day, it is only a survey. Nothing really that can compare with aggregate data. But if you really look at it as a pointer as to where things are, I think we are beginning to get a grip on the problem of unemployment in the country. Now, I look at some of the supply side factors which can also give a boost to the economic potential of India. The first is the dependency ratio is a very, very promising piece of statistic that people look at. And how is India faring on this level? The dependency ratio to be the lowest in the history at 31.2%, contributing just under a quarter of the incremental global workforce. The working age population bulge is expected to last until 2055. Access to finance is another area where we have had some tremendous progress in recent years. We've all heard about the Mudra schemes and other, now more recently the Pradhan Mantri Atmanirbhar scheme, which is providing finance for street vendors, providing 10,000, 20,000 rupees as a loan. Now, this by itself is not a very interesting piece of information. But what is very heartening is what they call as a retention ratio. That is, the person who has taken a 20,000 rupee loan comes back and borrows a slightly higher sum, which means no banker would be giving a second loan unless the performance on the previous loan has been satisfactory. So what we are now finding is that the access to finance has now increased thanks to the innovations in technology. I mean, the unique payment interface system for micropayments is such a terrific achievement, and in fact, it is now being recognized in various parts of the world as a achievement that other countries should emulate. And in fact, we are a thought leader in how to enhance the digital payment architecture in an economy. By the way, that Swanidhi scheme that has been analyzed by State Bank of India, it says that of the total borrowers, 43% are females. The ratio of people repaying the first loan of rupees 10,000 and taking the second loan is 68%. Borrowers between 26 to 45 years constitute 2/3 share of the beneficiaries, while 3/4 of the beneficiaries are from 18 to 45 age group. So in other words, the self-employment is actually being facilitated by increasing access to finance. So that is supply of capital is what is supposed to give a fillip to growth in the economy. And certainly we have got that number right as far as access to finance is concerned. Infrastructure upgrades, both on the physical and digital side. I think many of you are already familiar with the huge amount of progress in construction of national highways and increases in the route length of new railway lines being created. All of that is very much a fact of history. And the Western Dedicated Freight Corridor and Eastern Dedicated Freight Corridor is truly a game changer. Now, as you know, the Western Dedicated Freight Corridor brings raw materials and imported goods from the western part of the country to reach to the consuming classes in the north and for the south. So now increasing the rail infrastructure through dedicated freight corridor actually does two things. One, it actually pushes up the share of railways from what is currently now 30% to something like 50%. And if that happens, it does two things. One, because it is cheaper to transport by rail than by road, it reduces the cost of manufacture for a large number of people. And second thing is that it is also a more efficient form of transportation. In other words, it doesn't consume diesel, it doesn't emit carbon dioxide particles into the atmosphere. So to that extent, a transition from overemphasis on road mode of transportation to rail is certainly helping the environmental cause as well. And there is even a proposal to create a south and west corridor for goods movement, and of course south to the east, which means we are pretty much covering all the bulk transportation of coal, food grains, fertilizer, and so on, where they will be transported only by rail or predominantly by rail and less by road. In fact, these days I noticed that automobiles are being transported by rail more than road. Now, domestic policy reforms, I would only touch upon one important aspect of policy reform, which is the introduction of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. Now, what is so special about this Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code? You know, for the first time, we have actually switched over from the debtor continuing to be in possession of the assets to a situation where the creditor is going to be in possession of the assets. So if you are a borrower and you default on repayment of loan, now the creditors will form a committee among themselves and decide to take over the business. So in other words, whether they run the business or not, that is beside the point. That the debtor is no longer in control of these assets. Now in the olden days, I'm talking about 70s, 80s, and 90s, what used to happen was that whenever the bank faces a default in payment, the first thing that they will have to reckon with is the borrower will go to the court and say that something that he was supposed to do, the banker has failed to do, and because of which I have suffered some losses, and because of which I have to be first compensated for that loss before the banker can take any money from me. Now this dispute can go on for 30, 40 years. So there is no end in sight. So the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code actually, to use the exact legal terminology, it puts the creditor in possession of the assets as opposed to the debtor being in possession of the assets, which has been the case until now. So thanks to that, there has been a tremendous improvement in recovery of bad loans. And today, the percentage of non-performing assets has come down to a more manageable level of 1.5% to 2%. Compared to what used to be the norm of 3.5% to 4%. Now what that actually means is the good borrowers end up subsidizing the bad borrowers, because the banker has to recover the 3% loss by charging higher interest rate on even the good borrowers. So therefore, access to finance has now improved through a policy measure, which is the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. And I can tell you, in fact, one reason why people are saying that the private sector investment in gross fixed capital formation is very sluggish is because when you know that your own personal wealth is going to be at stake, you would think twice about putting up a new project. I mean, what we have noticed in the Indian economy all these days is that you can be very, very adventurous, or to use the phrase that has become very popular with economists, that unleashing the animal spirits of entrepreneurs. This unleashing of animal spirits of entrepreneurs is entirely possible if they have a license to gamble with other people's money. So that has now become not so easy, and because of which the entrepreneurs are hesitating to put money in new projects. And that is the reason why private corporate sector fixed capital formation is actually going down, or it is not as high as it used to be. because it's no longer possible to be very adventurous with banks' money. And the Supreme Court has recently passed a judgment where they said that if a borrower has a personal guarantee of the promoter, those personal guarantees can be invoked under the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. Now, this again is a tremendous improvement in the form of policy reform. And so only the good projects will come in. You will no longer hear the case like Kingfisher Airlines, where, Mr. Vijay Mallya was playing havoc with other people's money. But now that is going to be, I wouldn't say impossible, but it is going to be a lot more difficult than what had been the case in say, 10 years ago. Now, from a geopolitical perspective also, India is in a particularly happy situation. You all heard about the spat between US and China. And for that matter, it is not just the US, even the whole Europe is very disenchanted with China, seeing that they have gained far more than what they have passed on to the consumers in West in general. So India is now becoming an alternative, as MNCs are looking at a change in their strategy from China as a global supply chain focus. It is now becoming China plus one. Whether that one is India or Vietnam or some other country, we don't know. But we are definitely beginning to see that a bit of India is also getting into the calculation of multinational companies as part of their rebalancing of their manufacturing supply chain. And of course, everybody has known about the diaspora dividend. Now, what exactly is this diaspora dividend? If you take a look at the Fortune 500 companies, I think you can easily count about 25 to 30 companies in this 500 list where the CEOs are all Indians. I mean, they could be probably naturalized Americans or naturalized Frenchmen or whatever. But the fact of the matter is that they have an Indian connection. Now, will that translate into a positive contribution to the Indian economy? Many people claim that that is going to be the case. And we are not just talking about one or two iconic names like the Sundar Pichai and probably he's the more visible phase of this transition. But certainly more and more people of Indian origin are becoming heads of multinational companies which are featuring in the Fortune 500 list. So therefore, that is bound to have some kind of a policy bias in favor of India. So when these companies are thinking about where they should relocate their next investment plan, India is going to feature as part of the calculation in some way or other. Now, so therefore, people do talk about a growth being sustained into the future. But I want to enter a caveat here, that there is nothing inevitable about India's growth. We can't take it for granted that because we are growing at 7.6% in this first half of 23-24, it's going to be 8% in the second half of 23-24, and so on and so forth. In fact, growth is not just mathematical extrapolation into the future. In fact, the other day I was reading a CLSA, Hong Kong-based research firm. They are saying that India's GDP could be as high as $82 trillion by the year 2052. I mean, 50 years is still a long way away. 2082. 50 years is still a long way away. But just imagine 83 trillion is what they are sticking their neck out and putting out as a number. I personally think that it is too outlandish, because the earth cannot sustain $82 trillion of consumption of goods and services by just India alone. I mean, just imagine how many more automobiles that would be put into the streets in India as a result of this $82 trillion. So there are barriers to growth that, we are an extremely income-wise very disparate country. The wealth is accumulated in the hands of a small percentage of people, and a lot of people are having to make do with a somewhat ordinary humdrum existence. So that income disparity is not going to go away anytime soon, and the political will to make a kind of a conscious redistribution through better taxation policies is lacking. And I'm not just meaning the current ruling dispensation in Delhi. Across the political spectrum, nobody wants to do any real reform in direct taxes. It's so much easier to increase 1%, 2% in the GST rate. Say, a higher 1 rupee hike in excise duty on petrol is a lot more easy to generate the money required for free distribution of food grains or free bus passes and all that. But quite a different thing to have very high rates of marginal income tax for people in the highest income groups. So therefore, the political will for policy reforms is still very much a fact of life here. So therefore, the Harvard Business Review talked about how India's tourism campaign in 2002, where we talked about an incredible India. Now, from a marketing of tourism sector, it has been an outstanding success. So now the Harvard Business Review is saying that there is something called an inevitable India. Now, I personally don't think that there is going to be something like inevitable that India will grow to be a $80 trillion economy by 2072. But I would say this, that we certainly have the potential and we can become an economic powerhouse in the years ahead. But whether that becomes a reality or not, I wouldn't probably be around to see it happen. But certainly many of you as students would certainly be seeing that happen, or in all likelihood seeing it happen. So I've taken quite a bit of your time. So thanks for a very patient hearing. And thank you one and all.
Mr. Sampath Kumar, your presence here is a privilege, and we're sincerely grateful for the life experience that you generously shared. Our hearty appreciation for the huge amount of knowledge and experience you have brought to this gathering. Thank you for enriching our minds with your wisdom. Next, we have a special moment of felicitation by Dr. Jnana Soundari, the former head and associate professor in the Department of Economics at Lady Dock College.
Respected principal, distinguished guests, and my dear students. So, good evening to all of you. Now, on behalf of all of us, I would like to honor our star, Dr. Suganya, today with the Ponnadai. So I really feel very honored and privileged to stand here to felicitate my daughter like Suganya, who has been awarded the Best Teacher Award this year, which I missed the same award in 2015. So really I feel very happy that once again the Department of Economics is climbing, and we have enjoying this recipient, Dr. Suganya, being with us as a real best teacher. So, Dr. Suganya, who is the star of this great memorable event in the history of economic department, who is the best teacher, not only in terms of her academic records, or innovative teaching methods, but in real life also, she is a good person as such. The Department of Economics of Lady Doe College has been traveling with Malcolm and Elizabeth Adiseshiya Trust since its inception from 1996. Our former head, Dr. T. Ms. Prabha, who has been the instrumental to bring the connection between our department and the trust. So we have been traveling with them, and we have been received many grants, research grants, then library grants to uplift our environmental economics. So we are so happy that still we have the close relationship with the trust. Thank you, sir, for all your support to promote learning, teaching, and research in the field of economics throughout the nation. Now, Dr. Suganya, these are my observations since I have seen her as an undergraduate student in 2006. Dr. Suganya is the most productive person producing the greatest utility with maximum satisfaction to her students and the colleagues she has been working as a team, and the people she has been moving with in everyday life. Not only this day or that day, but whoever meets her really will be inspired because of her character. Then Dr. Suganya is a person whose personality is warm, inviting, friendly, considerate, kind, helpful, and loving. So all these traits I have been enjoying with her. So I am not telling it as something I have to speak like that, but this I have been enjoying with her every day, because when even now, after my retirement, I have been having close contact with all my colleagues and Suganya as well. So every day when I am asking some help or in terms of technology or in purchasing a book, anything, she will help, because that is the positive attitude she has, that say yes to good things. Always she is very positive in meeting the good things. So Dr. Suganya is kind-hearted. Always she is very consistent in having concern about the needs of the students and want to help them in achieving their goals, guide them and persuade them to go in the right track to accomplish what they aim for. Now, what makes Suganya this special? How she has reached that great height to receive this best award. That is the basic thing I have seen in her is her self-discipline. So discipline making her a person with more credits. Now, the message I want to give to the student community especially is, what makes a person a good human? Because all of us are doing our best in everything in our life. Especially for the students, when you are writing your assignments, you are making your seminar papers, what is the best you are putting in? So you learn that you have to do your best. So what are the 3 criteria we need for this to be a good human and to become a best person? First thing is, we have to live with a purpose. So whenever you wake up in the morning,
you note down in your mind that what is the purpose of my life today. So that is very, very important. So morning when you wake up, you be with your notebook to enter what are the things you have to do this day. So what is the purpose I am living for today? That makes you the best, that then only you will go accordingly. Then second thing I want to stress is, we have to live up to our personal potential. All of us are having talents, potentials, because God has given gifts to everyone in some way or other way. So we have to bring out our potentials in a positive way, which can bring benefit to the society and the people around us. Now, in a narrow down, we can do it within our family itself. So, in what way you are beneficial to your family? In what way your potentials are used for your family members? Then you come out to the society. Then the third one is, we have to connect and live positively within this world. So, within this world, why I am telling is that we have to live in the real life situation. Never consider an assumption in your mind that this is what my mommy told, this is what my dad told, this is what my friend told. Like that, don't do like that. You come to the real life. So, then for that, you have to update yourself. You have to update yourself every day in all aspects. That is, your physical, your personal, your social, cultural, spiritual, intellectual. So all aspects we have to grow every day. ஒரு நாள் பண்ணலாம், அடுத்த நாள் பண்ண வேணான்னு கிடையவே கிடையாது. ஒவ்வொரு நாளும் you should consistently improve every day. Then only you can be the best. And every one of us can give the best award to ourselves, because I am doing my best. So I can award myself. That is what I am doing every day. Whether I have done the best today, yes, then I can award myself that as a best person. So like that, this is a message I want to give you. Suganya has got this award, but what about each one of us? Do you think that we are with empty hands with no awards? Not like that. We are capable of receiving award every day. The thing is, you have to be the best. You have to think best. You have to live best with the real life situation. Now, I once again congratulate Suganya for her hard work, tireless work, for her innovative work, and who has brought this laurel and proud to the Department of Economics. Thank you.
Our sincere thanks to Dr. Jnana Soundari for her words of appreciation. As we near the end of our program, I now invite Dr. Suganya, Assistant Professor in the Department of Economics, to deliver the oath of thanks.
From the depth of our hearts, the Malcolm Elizabeth Adishesha Trust, Lady Doak College, and I personally express a profound gratitude to everyone who contributed to the resounding success of this award ceremony. Firstly, we offer our deepest thanks to the Almighty for His blessings throughout. We are particularly grateful to Dr. Venkatachalam, trustee of the Malcolm Elizabeth Adishesha Trust, for defying the challenges posted by the Chennai cyclone and traveling to Madurai to present the award and address our students. His dedication is truly inspiring. We express our sincere appreciation to the esteemed members of the jury. Their meticulous evaluation and selection of the award from the pool of deserving candidates. Their expertise and time were deeply valued. Our esteemed guest speaker, Mr. Sampath Kumar, Chairman of the Scientific Research Association for Economics and Finance and former Chief Editor of the Hindu Business Line, deserves our heartfelt gratitude. Sir, your presence underscores the significance of education and acknowledging excellence. Your insightful speech on Is India on the cusp of economic superpower provided valuable food for thought. We are deeply indebted to our beloved principal, Dr. Christiana Singh, for her unwavering support and encouragement. We also owe a sincere debt of gratitude to Dr. Jnanasundari, former head of the department, for felicitating me. And our heartfelt thanks goes to Dr. Helen Mary Jacqueline, Dean of Academic Affairs, for her meaningful prayer and continued support. We are grateful to Mrs. Janaki Ganapathy for welcoming our guests and providing constant moral support. We extend a sincere thanks to the faculty members from other colleges, Dr. Sadasivam, Dr. Deena Dayalan, and Dr. Christopher, for accepting our invitation and gracing us with your presence despite your busy schedules. We also thank our dedicated teachers and colleagues from the Department of Economics and from other departments, and whose presence signifies their support throughout my journey. Last but certainly not least, my dear students, your well wishes and presence fill me with immense pride, and I'm grateful for your warm support. We are deeply indebted to the technical team, Mr. Madhavan, Mr. Lenin, Mr. Muthupandi, CCM, Audiovisual Club students, and MC Balashri Rushni and Harini for their support. Finally, our utmost appreciation goes to all the dedicated volunteers who diligently ensured the smooth execution of this event. Thank you once again to everyone who contributed to making this evening a memorable celebration of achievement and inspiration. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Suganya, for expressing our gratitude and bringing this memorable evening to a close. Please enjoy the rest of the evening, and once again, congratulations to the awardees.